It seems that there's poisoning afoot, with a new assassin available from the highly toxic Venenum temple. Hello and welcome back to Warspets Tactics, where today I thought we'd just take a quick video to take a look at a fun new miniature from Games Workshop. Kind of an interesting one in my opinion, as it's the realisation of an ancient assassin temple that hasn't really ever been explored too much in the lore or on the tabletop before. This guy's basically an assassin of Clade Venenum, and is a model aimed at Horus Heresy rather than 40k, but it does beg the question whether or not they might explore this temple in the 41st millennium at some point. This guy's basically a new resin miniature from the Horus Heresy, so he is coming from Forge World as opposed to Games Workshop's new range of plastic kits, and it basically exemplifies a different way that assassins can deal death. The Eversors just blend everything, the Vindicators snipe people, the Calexuses turn off the psychic, and the Caliduses shapeshift, but these guys are experts of poison and toxin warfare, perhaps a bit more of a subtle weapon in 40k, and maybe one of the reasons why they haven't been explored in as much detail. The operatives of Clade Venenum are often just as likely to undertake operations not in combat gear and as subtle agents moving undetected to poison key targets, though I believe it's not unheard of in the lore for them to take to the field. It's believed that the Venenum Temple is a secret institute located on Holy Terror during the Horus Heresy and was under the command of Malcador the Sigillite, the Grand Master of the Assassins. The temple has had a few notable engagements in the lore over the history of 40k, including one of their agents being dispatched in a grand execution force that was trying to kill Horus, though obviously that didn't succeed, much to the misfortune of the Emperor. There have been a few other mentions of them here and there in the lore, for example one agent that was dispatched to kill an individual target with poison, and then due to warp time dilation they wound up arriving a lot later, and one treacherous individual had spawned an entire ruling house of rebels against the Imperium, so they poisoned every single one by poisoning their seats in a banquet hall. In general, they do seem to be a bit less of a prominent part of the lore in the 41st millennium, but likely I'd guess that the temple still exists. I think perhaps the reason that they haven't been explored up to now is that in general they don't tend to be as much combat operatives as they do tend to be more subtle agents, though to my understanding there have been a couple of examples of them fighting. In any case, I think this new miniature fits alongside the ranks pretty nicely. A relatively simple and smallish character miniature. I see he's got a good gas mask there to keep him safe from his own toxic concoctions, perhaps some sort of gas grenade on his belt, and then supposedly those two implements in his hand are a toxin injector and hook fang. I think the toxin injector is the one on the right and the hook fang is the one on the left. They have given us a couple of other pictures as well. He's got some sort of bubbling poison vat on the back of him. You can see some little vials already loaded up into that toxin injector, and you can just make out a bit of a curved blade type thing that hook fang seems to be. He does have some Horus Heresy rules, with rules for him found in the Liber Imperium book. He's got quite a fun ability when if he damages something with the hook fang, then if it survives the first contact, then it can continue to take further damage in later turns. I guess kind of makes sense from the lore, though I guess that might mean that the assassins probably met an unfortunate end with reprisals for whatever he tried to poison. I'm sure a fair few people will be wondering if this guy might get rules for Warhammer 40k. To me it seems like it might not be entirely out of the question, though my guess is that this model probably wouldn't. I feel like if they released rules for 40k, they'd actually release a new plastic assassin miniature for it. Definitely an avenue that they might go down at some stage, seeing as this guy's miniature exists now. Though I think that they'd be unlikely to do that for a standalone Forge World resin miniature. I guess potentially they could give him some rules in something like an Imperial Armor Compendium in the future, but I honestly wouldn't be holding my breath for it. In any case, I think it's a pretty fun new miniature, always interesting to see another dark corner of 40k lore explored. So let me know what you think of the miniature and the lore down in the comments below. Feel free to subscribe to Warspets Tactics if you'd like to see more like this, and if you want to help keep these videos coming, then the channel does have a Patreon page, which is linked down in the video description. Patrons do get a few advantages, including seeing videos early, votes to see what sort of things come next, and automatic entry into the prize giveaways. In any case, a massive thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.